Rosso Scuderia beauty behind me is the Ferrari 812 GTS, which means it's the open-top 812 Superfast. And that means its owner, Mark, is a very lucky boy. And I am extremely grateful once again to the generosity of Ferrari-owning friends of the Car Guys. Mark, we salute you. The 812 GTS is already regarded as a future classic amongst Ferrari fans. It's the one to have, because there's a lot less of them than the Superfast. And I'm sure you'll agree, it's properly beautiful, with that upright, chopped rear cockpit that seems to emphasize the length of the bonnet. This week, I'm going to look forensically at this sumptuous current range Ferrari, its design, engine, aerodynamics, that retractable roof, the technology, quirky features, and of course, I'm going to take it for a drive and let you have my driving impressions. Welcome to Drive Every Ferrari and welcome to the 812 GTS. The 812 GTS is the retractable hardtop version of the 812 Superfast, and here it is being revealed at the Fiorano test track in Maranello, Italy on the 3rd of September 2019. And I know, because I was there. Three things made this event particularly memorable for me. Number one, it was a double reveal alongside the F8 Spider. Number two, I got to drive a Monza SP2 around the Fiorano test track. And number three, the launch spec was actually the same as my Pista Spider, which I'd spec'd at Ferrari just 6 months earlier. And if you remember, I had to fight to get that Cioccolato interior. Conspiracy theory. When I was speccing my 812 Superfast, I had a bit of a dilemma. Should I go for the GTS or the standard hardtop? And I chose the hardtop, which was a mistake, because the GTS is undoubtedly the more beautiful, striking, rare, and better car. The 812 GTS commemorated Ferrari's 90th birthday celebrations, and it was the first drop-top front-engined V12 Ferrari since the 10-piece limited edition of the F60 America and 2010's 599 SA Aperta, of which only 80 were made. And prior to that, you also had the limited production 575 Super America in 2005 and the 550 Barchetta in the year 2000. The GTS, though, is a standard production model, and the last time that happened, it was with the 1969 365 GTS 4, or the Daytona Spider seen here. How about that for pedigree, eh? And since it's a roofless 812 Superfast, you get the same long bonnet, front-engined rear-wheel drive layout, short wheelbase, the same 6.5-litre naturally aspirated V12, and aerodynamically in-house designed body, including active aero at the front end to increase downforce and cool the brakes, mobile aero to reduce drag at high speed and increase airflow, and look at these air intakes here near the headlights. They suck in and fire out cool air over the tyres and then out through the vents just ahead of the doors to increase downforce. And this active rear diffuser, the flaps are closed at low speed but then open up at 17 degrees as the speeds increase to further reduce drag. This 2022 GTS is painted in Rosso Scuderia, which if you are a Ferrari scholar, you will know it's the colour that Michael Schumacher's Formula One car was painted in 2003 to 2007, to make the cars look more red on TV. It's also got factory painted shields, which are a near £10,000 option, but on a larger car like this look fantastic because of the greater space on the wings. It also has a bespoke factory black roof, which helps to make the car look lower, but this even more so is custom painted exactly as the owner desired. Behold the retractable hardtop, which has featured on all convertible Ferraris since the 458, and it takes just 14 seconds to open and close, and it's always 14 seconds by the way. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. And as you can see, it transforms the mighty 812 Superfast into a topless supermodel, one of the most striking modern Ferraris and one that instantly grabs your attention when you see one in the flesh. The buttresses that envelop the tonneau panel at the rear have been designed to make the GTS look like it's doing 200 miles an hour, even when it's standing still. But it's the upright stance of the two-person cabin that gives the GTS perhaps the best proportions of any modern Ferrari. It just looks so right. Yep, that's an engine all right. and one of the finest you will find in any automobile. It's a 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12 that generates 789 brake horsepower, 801 PS, peak torque of 530 foot-pounds, 718 newton meters, and it can do 0 to 60 in just 2.9 seconds and on to 124 miles an hour in 8.3 seconds. Top speed, well, that's 211 miles an hour. Those stats are identical to the 812 Superfast, and that would be impressive for a lightweight supercar. But remember, this is a hulking front-engined V12 Grand Tourer that weighs 1,645 kilograms dry, so it's easily hauling in excess of 1,800 kilograms. And in case you're wondering, the GTS is 120 kilograms heavier than the Superfast, thanks to strengthening and that roof mechanism. First of all then, let's put the roof down so that you can properly hear me and we can get a bit cozy looking at the interior of this 812 GTS. Like the 812 Superfast, this is a beautiful, sumptuous place to be. I've got leather all over the place, sculptured shapes. It's all very well engineered. It feels completely bomb-proof. It is very well put together. We've got matte carbon in here as opposed to the gloss, and you've also got this familiar bridge here which contains the controls for launch, auto, manual, gears and reverse. The roof controls are here in these dark buttons. They look very different to the window buttons, which is a step forward on the Pista Spider, where they're all clustered together and in the same type of button, so it's easy to press the wrong one. In the GTS, no such problems. This particular car has been heavily customized. It's an atelier car, and we've got some red strips everywhere, some personalized areas and plaques, which I'm not going to show you, but you do have this really nice Italian flag motif on the steering wheel and on the rear of the car, which I approve of actually, especially on a red car. It looks particularly Italian and particularly Ferrari. Headroom and size in the cabin is good. I've got the seat fairly forward, but you can go right back, so 6-footers plus can easily fit in here. Got 812 GTS written prominently there, just to remind you what car you're in, as if you need the reminding. And as well as the button to open the roof, you also have this button which just opens the rear screen, allowing you to hear the engine but without the full topless experience. Little area here for your knickknacks, very convenient and magnetic, no buttons. And of course, for no apparent reason, you still need a button to open the glove box. Don't know why. An unnecessary piece of electronics as far as I'm concerned. This car's got passenger display, and it's a very, very highly equipped example. We've got every possible gadget on here. And of course, the steering wheel ahead of me is festooned with technology, just like it is in a Formula One car. Not only have you got the engine stop-start button, but you've got your button for the bumpy road suspension. You have the Manettino to select your various driving modes, and you've got prominent indicators. Those were brought in for the GTC4 Lusso, and I heartily approve. You've also got stuff here for windscreen wipers and for headlights. And behind the steering wheel, you've also got things for selecting different audio inputs. And of course, because it's a modern Ferrari, we've also got stop start, we've got lane assist, you've got blind warning system if something gets in your blind spot, and you have loads and loads and loads of very, very, very wordy warnings when you start up the car, just like the F8 Tributo. Overall though, it feels like a super high quality Grand Tourer with a super sporting edge, which is of course what it is. Now I think it's time to take it out for a drive. Here we go then, my first drive in an 812 GTS. I'm familiar obviously with the 812 Superfast, but this is the first time I'm going to get to take the roof down and enjoy that incredible naturally aspirated 6.5 litre V12 engine with the roof down and the wind blowing through my hair. Now, the first thing you notice when driving a Ferrari front-engined V12, particularly a modern one, is just how solid it feels. It is a very stable, confidence-inspiring platform. I have acres of bonnet ahead of me, including those lovely 812 vents, which you can just see on both those front wings. That really gives you a nice direction to aim the car in. It's a very imposing, beautiful, swoopy shape this, and everywhere I look in this car, whether it's through the wing mirrors or the rear view or down the bonnet, the view is superb. I know I've gone on about the F12 being probably my favourite car between the two, but this one is the technological tour de force. This is the very latest Ferrari tech, and when you get in it, it does not feel special. Ferrari has deliberately engineered the steering on these things to be very light so that you don't notice the weight. Remember, this is probably 1850 kilograms, and you don't really want it to feel cumbersome, and the steering is part of the recipe of making it feel alive and alert. These sport seats are very comfortable, and the steering wheel, although quite cluttered with technology, is a good size. This one's actually got Alcantara around it to give it that sort of racy feel. Now remember, the 812 platform is paddle shift gearbox only, and it therefore features the very latest of Ferrari's paddle shift technology taken from Formula One, so it is incredibly fast and very precise. I'd be lying if I didn't say that it feels quite large threading this car through these small-ish lanes, but visibility is very good. Got no problem seeing where the edges of the car are, and thanks to those enormous wings you can judge the front of the car quite well. Oh, a little bit of a teaser there of what's to come. It takes the corners well, it's very composed. It is a large, heavy-ish car, but it doesn't feel like it when you're driving it. Yes, it feels wide, but it does feel very nimble indeed. And it's very well damped. Obviously you've got the bumpy road setting to help iron out the bumps, but it rides really, really well. I'll tell you what, Ferrari has nailed this front-engined, rear-wheel drive V12 formula. Now, how do you fancy some beans? You ready? Here we go. V12 812 GTS beans, let us commence. God! Oh, listen to it! Listen to the V12! Oh, the downshift! Oh, it's just so creamy and beautiful. The power is very linear. It just keeps on going. It just feels limitless. Oh, you are never, ever, ever going to run out of power in an 812. Oh my goodness, downshifts as well. Immediate, beautiful blips of the throttle. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. This is a fantastic car. It is peak modern Ferrari, this. It's just got this wonderful creamy howl, and obviously because it's got the retractable hardtop, you can press the button to bring down the little screen at the rear of the car, so you get all the benefit of the noise but without the buffeting, without the full open top experience, just like on my Pista Spider. But now of course you can hear the down changes, you can hear the engine so much. Oh, why would you ever drive this car without having that window down behind? It's just delicious. Now into a little bit of a twisty bit, some challenging corners here actually, so let's just see what this is like around this corner. Oh, it just takes it with ease. It feels like you could take that corner at 3 times the speed that I am right now. The grip is epic. It doesn't have any of the floatiness that the F12 had and that the F12 TDF tended to have a little bit of. It feels planted, it feels composed. Oh, it feels like it can just take on anything. And the brakes, they're pretty good as well. Good stopping power, which is what you need when your car weighs nearly 2 tons. Obviously I've got the roof up at the moment, just to give you a feeling of the car and to get used to it. We'll take the roof off in a minute. This one's got the passenger display, and everything I need is to hand. 2 big vents up ahead. All the main controls and air conditioning and everything is right here, very easy to get to, and everything else in the car is off of this steering wheel. We've got the very latest version of the indicators, which regular viewers of this channel will know that I have a particular bugbear with on Ferraris. But ever since the GTC4 Lusso, the indicators have become a lot more chunky, more precise, give you a positive action, so they don't tend to cancel whenever you least expect it. I guess it's an understatement to say that this particular atelier car has been very well optioned, but pretty much everything has been ticked on this one. It is a luxurious Grand Tourer par excellence, and when you drive this car, you feel like nothing can stop you. You feel that you can keep on driving until the very end of the earth, until petrol runs out. And certainly if you had that last gallon of petrol, an 812 GTS is a very good candidate for how to use it. There's just nothing that this car doesn't do well. It's a Grand Tourer, it's a snarling supercar, it's probably the best looking modern Ferrari, and if you've got an 812 GTS, you are very, very lucky. At low speed, the car is burbly and beautiful and boulevardy, and then at motorway speeds with the roof and the windows up, it's very, very quiet and very composed. Truly, this GTS is the master of all things. Well, now let's see what it's like when you take the roof down on the GTS. Here we go, hold down the button just like the Pista Spider. The roof goes up. I think we've got to be below 30 odd miles an hour, and there goes the roof. The classic retractable hardtop experience. Down it goes. And there we are. Roof down. Oh. Oh yeah, there you go, and that's it. This is exactly what you want from a convertible V12 Ferrari. Wind in your hair, glorious noise. Obviously, roof down, you get the best of both worlds. You get the wind in your hair, but you still get a lot of structural rigidity. It doesn't feel wobbly at all. It still feels stiff, even though it's not a carbon tub. But you just get to enjoy this whole car on an even greater level. Okay, so what do I like about the 812 GTS? Well, obviously, the noise, how composed it is, the steering, the dynamics, the speed, the grip, the outside looks, the view over the bonnet, the general looks of the car. I think it's a very handsome beast, this. I love the speed, I love how much power it's got, and it's a proper, decent GT car, this. What do I not like? There's nothing I don't like. I love it. I absolutely love the 812. If you were going to push me to find something wrong that I didn't like about an 812, it would probably be the sheer amount of technology in it. I don't really want a Ferrari to have a blind spot detecting beepy honky horn thing. I don't really want all of this technology gubbins. I would prefer it to be simpler. I don't want a Ferrari to have lane assist or any of those things, but that is the modern way. That is the way that cars are going, and if Ferrari didn't have that, then people would say, oh, they're iconic and dinosaurs and they haven't embraced, you know, new driving methods. So I can kind of understand. I don't think the boot is the largest thing in the world, but other than that, I think this is pretty much as near to perfect as a modern Ferrari can be. And I'll tell you another thing, I don't half wish I'd gone for one of these rather than say the hardtop 812, because this is, it's fantastic, no other word, it's just fantastic. Thank you for watching this episode on the Ferrari 812 GTS. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting and entertaining. If you like what we're doing on The Car Guys, please subscribe, leave comments and likes. There'll be another episode next week.